Okay. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for there is a problem internet in my desktop, so I use my handphone. So there is no my picture on that, but I can present our research. This is not the this is conceptual research, and we want to continue the empirical research after these papers. We like to present about strengthening consumer protection for microinsurance customer using behavioral research. This is an Indonesian case. As we know that in 2013, Indonesian Financial Service Authority, the independent regulation in Indonesia, doing the partnership with the life insurance companies associations, launched the grand design to develop of micro insurance Indonesia and to support the implementation of strategy and to expand micro insurance product across Indonesia. Using the grand design, the result is very okay. The data shows that in 2014, 1 year after the implementation, the customer of microinsurance only 10 million people, but 2019, more than 22 million people hold microinsurance in Indonesia. As we know that low-income customers are more vulnerable to risks associated with consuming microinsurance product. But unfortunately, the data show that they tend to be less educated, have less access to information, and less familiar with financial product, which could impair the ability to forge a sound financial decision. That is why basically the insurance is good for them to mitigate risk. But sometimes we know that the products that are typically difficult to understand both by consumer and even for selling agents, and the fact that most insurers are traditionally serving higher income segment and lack of experience serving low income customers. In Indonesia, only several insurance company that offers micro insurance, maybe only 3 or 4 insurance company. And because they are also state-owned companies, that is why they follow the government's regulation to sell the micro insurance. There are many research concerning the consumer protection in micro insurance. Basically, without consumer protection policy, low-income customer may face hardship during the consumption of microinsurance. Those impede the development and probability of microinsurance product. And we know that many studies of human behavior could help policymakers to pinpoint the source of bias that makes low-income customers behave irrational, many of them basically irrational, and devise intervention that could reduce the bias and improve financial behaviors and decision-making of customers. Therefore, our study aims to discuss behavioral research that could be utilized to help our policymakers improve customer protection policy within microinsurance setting. There are 3 pillars, basically. One is education and information, mainly in literacy and capability. Second is product and process design. How can we design the product which is good for them? And regulation and financial soundness to protect them and to protect them, and also to make fairness in business. For education and information, there are many research concerning this. Basically, financial literacy and product-specific information could be the tools to help customer making a decision whether to buy a microinsurance product and when and how to use it. when they have a bad experience consuming the product, they trust towards microinsurance product or financial product in general will be crushed and will lessen their willingness to use the product again. Even right now, when there is easy to viraling the information, bad experience from a customer, mainly for the poor, this is easy to spread the bad news about it, and can trust deteriorate, yeah, can they trust. Therefore, donors and service providers are encouraged to also participate in providing education and information, as the governments most of time could not fully execute the obligation to educate all level of society due to the limit resources. Why we also mention donors? Because there are many donors like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and IFC. They have a project about the micro insurance, and hopefully the regulators can work together with them in participating of providing education and good information for micro insurance customers. Product and process design, essential element of consumer protection, and encompassing like the risk cover, like the risk covers and level of coverage, premium, exclusion, and other product characteristics. Both service provider and selling agent are liable to build and offer the right product to the right customer. In Indonesia, not only the lack of education for customer, but also for selling agents. They only sell and they always promise about the good, about the promising of the microinsurance, but this is rarely they also explain about the risk of insurance. Service providers are responsible to design the product that supposedly able to fulfill the need of low-income customers, and they should be able to do this by conducting market research, aim to understand the need, willingness to pay, and as well as capacity of their target consumer to buy and to use product. Like in Indonesia, there is a bad news because there are many life insurance, not for the poor, but for the civil servant and for the employees that fail. There are the biggest insurance in Indonesia now is face the problem, and government trying to bail out, but it is difficult since there are we have to ask permission from the parliamentary and also minister, also presidents, and until now still there is a problem, and there are many micro insurance customers that also think that if they want to participate in the insurance, could be it has happened like life insurance that that right now in a problem. Third pillars is regulation and financial soundness of providers and program. We know that distrustful and unfamiliarity are known to be among the factors that hinder consumers from purchasing financial product. That is why regulator should strike a balance between protection consumers from risky providers and programs and limiting the innovation spare within microinsurance market, because introducing many regulators in the markets may not only protect customers from potential risks, but also discourage providers to innovate and impede market growth. This is a very delicate, but we do hope that regulators can balancing between the need of the customers and also the service providers. So, customer protection policy for microinsurance customer current condition, we there are five steps. First is legal, regulatory, and institutional framework. Then business practice, product and price regulation, complaint handling and dispute resolution mechanism, and financial education. For legal, regulatory, and institutional framework, Indonesian Financial Service Authority, as an independent state agency, already has provide regulation for microinsurance, protection the customers, and even also the systemic regulation. Not only the FSA, there are also Bank of Indonesia, which is the Central Bank of Indonesia, also issue a customer protection regulation regarding the payment system. So there are two institutions that already launched the regulatory to protect consumer protection, and in business practice, the FSA also has a regulation to protect personal data of the customers. We know that sometimes the customers don't care or don't want to read the tiny term and condition, and also to choose whether the service provider can use the data or not. So Indonesian Financial Service Authority, they launched the regulation to protect personal data. For instance, Indonesia FSA defined several marketing channels that can be used to market microinsurance product, including direct marketing, insurance agents, bank assurance, business entity other than bank and sales agent. For the product and price regulatory, there are also the regulation. Basically, this information should be clearly stated in the agreement and delivered in the beginning before the consumer signing the agreement document. It's clearly mentioned, yeah, but you know, sometimes the customers is not really care, yeah, and financial service providers are not allowed to incur extra charge to customer without their consent. Indonesia Financial Service Authority also regulate maximum contribution for 3-month coverage should be not more than $50,000, $3.5. Even there are some insurance company, they sell the product only $3.5 for 1 year, not only for 3 months. So now there are like a competition between them, and they're trying to pursue the micro person to purchase the micro insurance with only $3.5 for 1 year, and the benefit cap not only 50 million, 3,500 USD, but also there are many providers provide, including when there is accidents, when they have to go to the hospital, then they can cover all those expenses. Complaint handling and dispute resolution mechanism. Our Financial Service Authority already also have a regulation how to solve the problem if there is a complaint and if there is a dispute. First, if there is a dispute, they have to solve the problem using internal dispute resolution between the customers and the financial service providers. If they can finish or solve the problem for 90 days, working days, then they can go to the external dispute resolution. Then finally, they can contacting Indonesian Financial Service Authority to solve the problem. So 90 days internal, and then 90 days external. But roughly they can finish for 1 month, or even for the reputed financial service providers, they can finish the problem only 3 days or 1 week. Last is financial education. Regulation by Indonesia FSA also entail provision that financial service providers should provide education to customer in order to improve financial literacy, and that it should be formulated in financial service providers annual program and reported to Indonesian Financial Service Authority. If they not comply, financial service provider have to pay some amount to Indonesia FSI, and then Indonesia FSI will use the money to educate, to improve financial literacy. In September 2016, even our President Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Jokowi, also issued a guideline in the form of a national strategy of financial inclusion to broaden access to financial service, including insurance. Now, as a discussion, we do understand that the discussion in this paper covering risk mitigation effort, which can still be controlled by regulation, by the way, of influencing provider or consumer behavior in preventing the negative outcome from using micro-insurance product. Furthermore, we specially targeted risks that are likely to happen because of cognitive bias, heuristic, or non-rational thinking that influence in consumer suboptimal decision making, and some behavior bias related to customer policy are choice information overload, status quo effect, endowment effect, anchoring, framing, priming effect, overconfidence, hyperbolic discounting, time inconsistency, fairness, social norm. So we put all this problem from many sources of papers. So there are 6 steps of consumers policy making according to OECD, and this of the step get benefit from behavioral insight. Step 1 is define the consumer problem and its sources. Second, measuring consumer detriments. Step 3 is determine whether consumers determine warrant a policy action. And step 4, set a policy objective and identify the range of policy option. Step 5 is evaluate option and select a profile action. Step 6 is develop of policy review process to evaluate effectiveness of the policy. Financial education for customer in a broader sense, since a low-income customer whom are the major target market of micro-insurance product tend to be less literate and unfamiliar with financial product. Financial education program become more critical. Although we still cannot conclude, based on previous research, whether financial education is absolutely improve customers' financial behavior. Some research show insignificant research, and some others show significant, although weak, effect of financial education on financial behavior. It is challenged to provide an effective financial education for us. For information disclosure, customers can still be ignorant due to many things such as information overload, stressful restraining. Therefore, regulators should prescribe certain format and procedure to disclosure information in a way that increase the information disclosure. Incentive for sales staff. Sales agents hold major responsibility in ensuring that customers are protected when they use microinsurance product. Thus, customer protection policy may be not sufficient if it only focus on customer behaviors. So the challenges is how to create incentive that do not lead sales agent to offer unsuitable product to customers. Why this is important in Indonesia, many sales agents is not the fixed employee of the financial service providers. They are contracting or outsourcing, and sometimes to get the target, they can sell easily with many promising to the micro insurance customers, therefore to achieve the target. So this is important in Indonesia for financial regulation to challenge how to create incentives that do not lead sales agent to offer unsuitable product to customers. Reliable pricing is also an issue. The pricing structure of insurance product is also something that is not obvious. Therefore, regulators should necessity microinsurance provider to give a clear. Furthermore, the choice of payment method could depend on individual habit and belief. For instance, there are many microinsurance customers that habit not transfer bank, but they go to the shop and using the payment from the shop, or they use the handphone, or they use telecom providers by cutting the pools to pay the insurance. So there are many habit and belief for them. However, service providers need to ensure that provide a varied, easy, and accessibility choice of payment of method to the customer. Data privacy. Data privacy now also the issue. That is why this behavior is quite pervasive. Regulators should obligate service provider to design their data sharing policies and consent-informed approach in a way that not detrimental for customers. Complaint and handling resolution. Regulations should requiring provider to give an accessible channel to deliver complaint, and that the channel should be something that low-income consumers feel close and comfortable with. Conclusion and limitation. This paper suggests that many researchers have been conducted enormous research in order to understand human behavior. Behavioral insight can be applied in a diverse range of issues concerning consumer protection, and it can be used in situations where conducting large customer research is not possible. However, since the context often matters, we suggest that if behavioral insight be taken from a complete different context, regulators and service providers should test it to gain more evidence and confidence in using the insight. In general, previous behavioral research can inform regulators and can be treated as a starting hypothesis in the customer protection policy making process. We do aware that our paper has several limitations. First, we did not cover a whole range of financial product and rather focus on only microinsurance product. And second, we only present several examples of behavioral insight and how it can be used to improve customer protection policy. In other words, we did not aim to discuss a comprehensive result of behavioral research. Therefore, it should be noted that this paper does not intended to solve specific problems for which we suggest behavioral research in a solution. Instead, we present an argument of the possibility of using behavioral insight, as well as provide an illustration of how it can be used in a policy implementation. Thank you.
Thank you.